Hi, Original Soul. Welcome in to your reading, where I thought we would start out with a card out of this Tell Me You Love Me Oracle. See what message comes out of here, and then probably add tarot to it after that. I hope you're doing really well. And thanks so much for sharing energy with this reading. I think we got two cards here. What's at the bottom? Wisdom, Temperance, and Calm. All right, let's see here. Number 23, Separation, No Endings. No means no, is what it says on that card. And then number 32, Enchantment, Serenading, Flirtation. Make way for the panpipes and violins. All right, we've got 23 and 32, so you could be seeing mirrored numbers like 2332 or different combinations of those. All right, let's get some tarot with these. So possibly a situation has come to an end, or you've had to turn something down. Maybe it's for the last time. But something else opening up that you might be enthralled in or enchanted in. Maybe there's a little flirtation or someone is serenading you. So let's see what comes out here, because you have learned from these situations. Let's see, 10 of Swords, 8 of Wands, and Queen of Wands. These all sort of flipped in reverse here. So you could have an ending or a separation with this reverse Queen of Wands. Maybe this was somebody that was a little manipulative or even a little aggressive, angry. Right? You could never really do anything right. Or someone who might have even been a little controlling. So there could be a separation or an ending there with 10 of Swords, 8 of Wands. Right? Maybe there was some communication that is coming towards you, and you thought this was over. You thought, there was an ending, or you've been separated from somebody. This could be something that maybe they're sending you messages, wanting to reconnect, wanting to stir things back up. But as this card is mentioning, right, no means no. You're allowed to say no. This message has come up a few times recently where, right, you don't have to say yes to something or accept something just because it's presented to you. All right, so just notice if that fits at all for your situation. Leave a like on the video if it does. But again, some sort of ending or separation or blocking communication. Again, with somebody who is more possessive, more assertive. Again, could even be, I guess I'm getting like verbally abusive as well, even though this is a Wands card. Controlling, I believe I already said that. All right, 333 on the timer. I see the Death card at the bottom, and that card reminds me of, different versions of the Death card with the skeleton there. All right, so definitely some sort of ending happening or has happened in your recent past. For others of you, that's something that you need to communicate, and maybe you haven't communicated that yet, or it makes you feel like you're being the bad guy, or you're not allowed to set certain boundaries or something like that. With Enchantment, Serenading, and Flirtation, we do have the 5 of Swords. All right, definitely watch out with who you're connecting with, just making sure that you're not getting manipulated or played is coming to mind here. This also could be something where, if you did have a recent ending to a situation, you might not really feel like you should be flirting, or you might feel, like that is doing something that you shouldn't be doing. Something that you might feel like should be a secret. Yeah, with the Hierophant, this flew out in reverse. A lot of cards in reversal here. All right, so this Enchantment, Flirtation, this could be, somebody coming towards you, but they might not be really serious about a full-on commitment, and not every situation has to be, heading to marriage. But just maybe getting that out on the table, or understanding where things stand so you're not disappointed later. If you're thinking something is the end all be all or true love, right? This other person may be coming in, not quite as serious or at that level, at least at this point, because there have been burdens and lessons that have been learned, right? Wisdom gained from other situations. But those may still be things that are carried forward as either you or this other person that you might be connecting with is connecting, right? Like you want to walk down a new path or have something new, 555 on the timer, but you may be weighed down a little bit from what has happened to you in the past, or like I said, vice versa. Yeah, Eight of Pentacles, because you've put in a lot of time and effort, especially in your relationships. Like you may really focus on the other person when you're with somebody and really give that all your attention, just looking at that big, huge gold pentacle that she's diligently working on there. And notice that might be a pattern that you have in your situations. Or again, you may go in thinking right away, like this is going to last forever or be your next thing. So again, just being careful if that is a pattern, because again, not every person that you connect with is necessarily going to be, around forever. Okay, let's get some with Wisdom, Temperance, and Calm. The card that was at the bottom of the deck. So High Priestess. This is using your discernment a little bit more. This is checking in with your guides or your spirit team. Really understanding too your own psyche. And like I was just talking about, maybe there are some patterns or habits specifically with boundaries or even codependency or something like that. So definitely checking more in with your intuition. Maybe diving a little bit deeper, even doing some reflecting on that. So that isn't really a surprise to you when something like that happens, or so you can be more available moving forward. Because maybe even this energy is you, right? Especially if you just got out of a situation. Maybe you're not looking for something serious. Right? And noticing where that could even cause a little bit of conflict. All right. And yeah, getting more into your King of Wands energy. So definitely being more of a leader. This also is Leo. And I think, is High Priestess Pisces? So those signs may apply to you. Also saw the Death card, so that's Scorpio. So I don't know if any of those signs resonate for you, or maybe a person you have connected with or that you will be connecting with soon here. But again, taking more of a lead in your life, being more discerning, taking action in ways that serves you best, and also having good boundaries. Being passionate. Right? But in a way, again, that actually makes more sense for you once you tap in, connect. All right, super short but interesting reading here about potentially, the next connection that you may find yourself in. And again, just check in with where you're at with that sort of energy, where you're at with your boundaries, your seriousness level. Right, nothing wrong with a little flirtation or maybe even a little crush here. But yeah, checking in with your lessons, your wisdom from what you've learned from the past. All right, so that's what we've got here for this reading. If there was something here for you, leave me a like or a comment, and I hope to see you again. Until next time, peace.